In the 2023 Sun Bowl, a running back you've probably never heard of put on a show that made NFL scouts scramble for their notepads. With the game on the line, Cam Skattebo took a handoff, burst through the line, broke 3 tackles, and outran the defense for a 70-yard touchdown, the kind of explosive play that changes games and wins championships. But that run wasn't what made scouts rewind the tape again and again. It was what happened earlier in the game. Skattebo, with the ball in his hands, encountered a defender in the open field. Instead of making a move, he lowered his shoulder and delivered a hit so violent it sent the would-be tackler flying backward 5 yards. The collision echoed through the stadium. Teammates erupted on the sideline, and NFL decision-makers started wondering if they had found this year's hidden gem. Every NFL draft has them, players who slide under the radar only to emerge as stars on Sundays. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant before leading the 49ers to a Super Bowl. George Kittle was a 5th rounder. Tom Brady famously waited until pick 199. The list goes on. Could Cam Skattebo be next? The running back who transferred from Sacramento State to Arizona State, who doesn't have the combine numbers of a superstar but plays with an intensity that can't be measured. Could he be the player every team passes on only to regret it for years to come? This is the case for Cam Skattebo as the potential steal of the NFL draft. To understand what makes Skattebo special, we first need to look at his journey. Unlike most NFL prospects who were 5-star recruits with multiple Power 5 offers, Skattebo took a different path. Coming out of Rio Linda High School in California, he wasn't heavily recruited despite rushing for over 3,500 yards and 42 touchdowns in his senior season. The major programs overlooked him, partially due to his 5 feet 9 inches frame and partially because he didn't fit the prototype of what coaches thought a dominant running back should look like. He landed at Sacramento during the COVID-shortened season. Skattebo exploded as a sophomore in 2022. He rushed for 1,373 yards, averaging a remarkable 7.0 yards per carry, adding 29 catches for 314 yards. He was named the Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year, a rare achievement for a sophomore. What made his performance even more impressive was how he did it. Skattebo ran with a combination of vision, balance, and raw power that made him nearly impossible to bring down with the first hit. He led the FCS in yards after contact, breaking tackles at a rate that reminded some observers of a young Marshawn Lynch. After another strong season at Sacramento State, Skattebo made the leap to the FBS level, transferring to Arizona State for the 2023 season. The question followed him: could he produce against higher-level competition? The answer came emphatically. Despite joining a Sun Devils team in transition under new head coach Kenny Dillingham, Skattebo immediately established himself. Exceptions for Power 5 competition, he didn't just hold his own, he thrived, posting 262 yards against Mississippi State, 182 against Kansas, and his signature performance in the Peach Bowl versus Texas, where he rushed for 143 and 2 touchdowns, caught 8 passes for 99 yards, and threw a 42-yard touchdown. So why isn't Skattebo projected as a first-round pick? The reasons are both fair and potentially 5 feet 9 inches and 208 pounds. He doesn't have the prototypical NFL running back frame. While powerfully built, his lack of height creates concerns about his ability to see running lanes at the NFL level. Skattebo ran a 4.57 40-yard dash, respectable but not exceptional for his position. His vertical jump, 39.5 inches, and broad jump, 10 feet 3 inches, were similarly solid but unspectacular. In a process that often overvalues measurables, these numbers don't scream future star. There's also the level of competition question. While he proved himself against Power 5 teams at Arizona State, he didn't face the SEC or Big Ten week after week. Fair or not, some scouts discount production against what they perceive as lesser competition. Finally, there's the position itself. Running backs have been devalued in recent drafts, with teams increasingly believing they can find productive runners in later rounds or even after the draft. This trend works against any running back prospect, regardless of talent. But here's where the steal potential comes in. Contact balance, perhaps his most elite trait. Skattebo has an uncanny ability to absorb hits and keep his feet underneath him. Lower body strength and a low center of gravity allow him to run through arm tackles that stop other backs. According to Pro Football Focus, he forced 89 missed tackles in 2023, one of the highest totals in college football. His vision is exceptional, with the patience to set up blocks and the burst to exploit holes when they appear. Unlike some backs who dance in the backfield looking for the home run, Skattebo takes what's available, consistently turning potential losses into positive gains. Then there's his pass-catching ability. In an NFL that increasingly values three-down backs, Skattebo's natural hands and route running make him more valuable than pure runners. He's comfortable splitting out wide or running routes from the backfield, creating mismatches against linebackers in coverage. But perhaps most importantly, there's the mentality. Skattebo runs angry. There's no other way to describe it. He doesn't just want to get past defenders, he wants to punish them in the process. This physical, aggressive running style demoralizes defenses over 4 quarters and often leads to bigger gains late in games as tacklers become increasingly reluctant to meet him head-on. He runs like he's personally offended that you're trying to tackle him, said one anonymous NFL scout. That's something you can't teach. This combination of skills has drawn comparisons to several successful NFL backs. Some see shades of Maurice Jones-Drew, another undersized back who used leverage and power to outplay his measurables. Others point to Kareem Hunt's contact balance and three-down ability. A few even mention Marshawn Lynch, not just for the tackle-breaking ability, but for the mentality that made beast mode a phenomenon. History provides plenty of examples of running backs who outperformed their draft position. Alvin Kamara was a third-round pick. Aaron Jones went in the 5th round. James Robinson wasn't drafted at all before rushing for over 1,000 yards as a rookie. If he produces at the level his college tape suggests he can, that would represent tremendous value in a league where finding difference makers outside the 1st round is increasingly important for sustained success. Of course, there are legitimate questions about how his game will translate. NFL defenders are bigger, faster, and more technically sound than those he faced in college. Skattebo's tape provides a compelling counter-argument. Worried about his size? Watch him run through defenders who outweigh him by 50 pounds. Concerned about his speed? See him pull away from defensive backs in the open field. Questions about competition level? Focus on how he performed in Arizona State's biggest games against their toughest opponents. The running back position has evolved in the modern NFL. Teams no longer build their offenses around a single workhorse back who gets 25 carries every game. Instead, the most successful rushing attacks feature complementary backs with different reliable pass catcher on 3rd downs. He can be the closer who grinds out tough yards to protect a lead late in games. That versatility makes him valuable even in a committee approach. Will Cameron Skattebo be the steal of the NFL draft? It's impossible to know for certain. The transition from college to the pros is unpredictable, influenced by factors beyond raw talent, landing spot, Coaching, opportunity, health, and even luck all play crucial roles. But what we do know is this: Skattebo possesses qualities that historically translate well to the next level. He runs with vision, power, and determination. He catches the ball naturally. He plays with a competitive fire that elevates teammates. And most importantly, he's consistently productive regardless of the situation around him. Every year, NFL front offices fall in love with measurables and potential, overlooking players who simply produce when given the opportunity. They draft based on what athletes might become rather than what they've already proven to be. Sometimes this approach works. Often it doesn't. Meanwhile, players like Skattebo, the ones who may not check every box physically, but who demonstrate an undeniable ability to play the game at a high level, slide down draft boards. They wait through agonizing hours of the draft, watching less productive players hear their names called. They carry that chip on their shoulder into rookie minicamps, into training camp, into preseason games, and eventually onto NFL.